The ADP chasing guys kicked us off earlier today, and it is now officially FFPC week here on the channel. And we kick things off every year with this Boomer Opto reveal show. We're going to have Hassan and Blair from RotoViz joining us. And for those of you who aren't familiar, the Boomer Opto is the chalk. It's what these boomers get down with their pen and papers when they fill out their lineup, and it's our job to figure out how to exploit it. I'm Pete with the ship chasing crew. We got Gretch back in the saddle. Let's do it, guys.
Pat Fryer Helmo.
This is why I'm hot.
Anita Handjob.
Fix your sight.
Jamar Alpha Play Chase.
Are you kidding me? Kadarius Toney?
You can't handle the heat.
Pete, it looks like we're finally this boys. You're right.
All right. Hassan told us he was furiously making updates to the Boomer Opto, and he'd be here when it was finally ready. But until then, we got Pat, we got Gretch, we got Blair. Blair, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. This is maybe my favorite week in all of fantasy. I love this contest. A lot of
it's so fun.
A lot of game theory stuff to get pretty deep into, despite the simplicity of the contest, which I think is what I love about it. It's simple rules, but it's still very hard.
Do we want to set up the contest for people who aren't familiar?
Yeah, Pat, you've been in the weeds today, working on your ownership, which we're going to fully reveal tomorrow. But yeah, maybe give them the simple part of putting a lineup here on FFPC.
So this is an FFPC lineup that you're putting together, and you can pick any player you want from any team you want, but you can only pick one player from each team. The Super Bowl counts for double points. It's tight end premium because it's FFPC scoring, so it is tight end premium. And you're competing against everyone else who has the same rules. So you're trying to figure out kind of where the field is going to go with these players. A lot of this ends up being kind of a game theory type of contest where you're trying to figure out who everyone else is going to play, which is why I do ownership projections, which you can get in the Ship Chasing Discord or in or Leg Up. And you can fill out a lineup which is not the typical FFPC lineup because there's 2 extra flexes. So it's quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 4 flexes, a tight end, a kicker, and a defense. We refer to the kicker and the defense as soft fading because they're not going to score as many points generally. So you typically see people select kicker and defense from teams they don't expect to go far. And then there's 2 teams that you don't select at all. So you're hard fading those teams. So you've got 12 roster spots, 14 playoff teams. You pick 2 that you don't play at all.
And Gretch, how about the complicated part of this contest? How is it that we are able to spend, hours upon hours strategizing, theorizing, debating about this simple contest?
I mean, I don't think there's anything that we actually know about it. As simple as it is, like the one thing we used to always say is you need to take your quarterback on the team that goes the farthest into the Super Bowl because you get double points later and quarterbacks score more points. Last couple of years, I'm pretty sure the optimal was a QB in like 2 games. We've also always
Daniels, I think, was optimal, right?
Yeah, and then we've also so he played 3 games. But we've also said several times, I think the year prior, Allen was optimal with 2. But we've said several times
that's right.
that you want to soft fade and hard fade teams that are going to lose. Specifically, hard fade teams that are going to lose, which is proven true. But both of the last 2 years in the optimal, a winning team that played multiple games ended up being a soft fade team. You had the Texans DST the last couple of years? I think.
Or kicker. So, one of the 2. Yeah.
DST, yeah.
I think the optimal last year was the Texans DST and Cameron Dicker against each other in the first round.
That's right.
Did, and we thought was stupid, but we're the idiots. We're the ones that had egg on our face. So, I mean, the challenging part of it is there's so many ways to slice it. There's no stack benefit like you can do in it. Like we sometimes have compared it to DFS, and you can say, oh, if I stack, I can limit the things that I need to get right. You can't really do that in this. It's kind of like a parlay, right? You got to get 12 different things right. Like some of it is not exactly that. There's things you can do. We always talk about trying to think about a bracket and then pick players that make sense within a bracket and give yourself some different paths and think about different outs and those types of things. But to a certain degree, you need to build a lineup that tells you something, like that tells a story, that tells you something very specific. Because if you try too hard to do, too many things at once in one lineup, I think you just, I don't know. It's a challenging contest. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of problems you can run into.
I would say those are like
contest.
The like 3 levels, or maybe I guess it would be 4 levels. Is like the first is you just pull up the blank lineup page and you start clicking the players you like. And obviously, if you pick a player from a team, the rest of the players will become ineligible from their team because you can only pick one. That's like the first level. Just pick the best plays, right? Easy. Then the second level is kind of what Gretch was describing, where like, oh, let me think through a bracket and like, oh, I want the quarterback who's going to play, 4 games or whatever, and I'm going to start there. And then the third level is you start thinking about ownership of like, oh, what is the field going to do? If everyone's doing that, maybe that's not my easiest path to first place. And then the fourth, where we're trying to get to, is you're basically marrying all that stuff. You want highly projecting players. You want a bracket that tells a logical story. And you want to have some leverage, some levers you're pulling against what the chalk is. And that's so much.
That point about the levers, and the one thing we say every year, because literally almost half of the playoff teams will only play one playoff game, there's always opportunities for leverage. There will be players that are in the winning lineup that will only play one game. 6 teams are going to lose this weekend. Like 5 days from now, 6 of the 14 teams playoffs will be done, right? And then it can be a 7th team, like last year when the Lions lost their first game the next weekend. If one of the bye teams gets upset in the second weekend, you really do have half the field playing just one game. And then all of their stats are finalized. You don't get another week. You don't get any of that. And so the point about the leverage thing is people love to play both sides of the games that are toss-ups. Pat and I were just talking. We were talking a little bit about the Bills and Jags game. We're talking a little bit about the Packers and Bears game. Those games have close spreads. People are going to want to play both sides of that. They're going to want to fade the Panthers. They're going to want to fade the teams that they don't think can actually win. But the reality is you do know that one of the Bears and Packers are going to lose. You do know that one of the Bills and Jags are going to lose. And then when you realize that part of it, the possibility that Teteroa McMillan outscores the best skill player on the loser of the Bears Packers. Let's say it's the Bears. The best skill player on the Bears, McMillan can outscore the best skill player on the Bears if both teams lose. Like that can obviously happen. So there's all of these different ways to get unique and pull levers that people aren't going to think through when they're just clicking. They're like, I don't want to play a Panther. That's the first level thing that Pete was talking
People generally don't want to have to decide who wins the game. So if I think the Jags and the Bills will end up being a game like this where people don't really want to have to decide who wins. And so you can take both sides of that game. I think people are like almost everybody's probably going to take both sides of the Eagles and the 49ers. And I expect to see very little fade, like even soft fade from that game. Because like you're like, I'm getting different just by taking Kittle there, probably. Why do I have to not take a 49er at all? And so you end up in these spots where just by doing something like taking a Steeler, taking a Panther, like I would take the under on 20% total skill player on the Steelers. The like Steelers skill player or Rodgers totals to 20%. I would take the under on that, and I would take the under on 15% for the Panthers. I think close to 90% of the field will not play a Panther unless it's their defense of the kicker. And I don't even think those guys will be option. I think hard fade is going to be crazy.
It's going to be massive high, especially because there's 11 of the 14 teams you want to try to jam into 10 spots. We were just talking about it where like even just figuring out whether you want to soft fade like the Packers or the Jags, it ends up, we're going to get into the Boomer Opto, but we're going to see that as we get into it.
Or the Texans is another.
There's a year, or the Tex. Yeah, this is a year where there's enough live teams that it's really hard to justify. You're already having to squeeze a good team out or two. It's really hard to justify putting the Panthers in to squeeze a third one out. Like it's just like I'm not doing that.
The other thing is that I think there's two teams that near the top of the odds of making the conference championship, of winning the conference, because we don't really care about who wins the Super Bowl. We care about who wins the conference to get to the Super Bowl. So you score double points there. The Broncos, Jacob this morning was mentioning like, if you don't play Bo Nix and actually have them making a run, So you think they lose in like 2 games. Well, what if they lose in 1 game? Then do you actually want, Cortland Sutton or RJ Harvey, or are you better off like just fading the Broncos? And I think some people end up getting there and actually fade the Broncos more than you would expect for them. They have a 30% chance to make the Super Bowl, but I think we see some fade on the Broncos.
That's a team where you could see a 2-game soft fade. You could see a 2-game DST or kicker.
With the DST, yeah, or the kicker, yeah. And then New England, I think we get some fade on New England because if you're not playing May, because of the running back split, I don't think people are going to like flock to either one. I have Henderson higher, but not like by a ton. And then Diggs is not like a super, super comfy click either. Henry's okay, and tight end isn't great, so he'll get some. But I think we do see a little bit of a New England fade. I have it 14% total fade, so nothing crazy, but it's not like the Rams I have at 1%. Philly I have at 3% total fade. I think you'll see at least a little bit of New England fade too. So yeah, there's it's kind of picking which teams you fade. There's a bunch of viable options, which you would think would lead people not to fade Carolina, but I still think I have it currently over 80% of the field just doesn't play any Panther, including the defense or kicker.
I'm with you. It's going to be really high.
So
it's going to break a record this year because I think it'll be live to make a run.
Fade.
Yeah.
Blair, is there any other stuff you've been thinking about for the challenge this year? Obviously, the huge talking point has been how wide open it is. Stuff. How do you feel like that filters down into this specific contest?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think where you see that this year, especially where you haven't in past years, is at tight end, where there aren't maybe there's not a chalk option at tight end. I mean, I think there probably is one just by default. But yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. But is he is he a comfortable click in the way that some other guys have been in the last few seasons?
Definitely.
No, not like that. Not like that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, even just we've been talking about how removing Travis Kelce from the player pool, that has been such a staple of something that has felt so good over the past decade playing this contest.
Yeah,
it's crazy not having Kelce in. If he was in this year, he'd probably be
he'd be 70% or something.
Yeah, he'd be the one piece that felt good. Yeah,
even as old as he is, people would be taking him with the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking about it from that perspective, and then also kind of what you guys mentioned about finding these guys like a McMillan or someone who can go off in one game and push, one of these losing teams that we actually push their guys out of the optimal altogether. Finding those guys, I think, might be important.
And just so a couple things. One, when we reveal the Boomer Opto, that's going to be not just the chalk, but the lineup that we think will be the most duped in the tournament. And there were teams last year that were duped. There was a team that was duped 16 times in the tournament, and another team that was duped 15 times. So you do see big dupes, and this is a top-heavy tournament. There's another team that was duped 14 times. So it used to be I forget, years ago, there was a team that was duped 30-something times. So it's a little bit less. I think we've done our part a little bit to kind of get the word out that you don't want to be uber duped here, but it's top heavy, man. So you don't want to end up splitting with 15 other people from the jump. If you're lucky
the
enough
math on that gets really thin in terms of how it impacts your EV if you're 15 people. You look at look at how 12th place on the screen right now is 3,000. You start throwing 3,000s in there and then divide by 12, that 100,000 comes down really quick. I promise.
This is, to be fair, this is the $35 I have pulled up for the because that's what we'll toss one we build at the end of the show in. But they're both extremely top heavy. $500,000 in the other one.
And no duped rosters finished in the top 10 last year. And there was a couple rosters were duped just with one other entry. The first 3 duped lineup wasn't until 29th. So it's not getting off of the most duped lineup will kind of probably get you to a better team. Actually, it's not. We haven't really seen these big dupe trains at the top of this, so it's beneficial in a couple ways.
And that's very, I assume, dependent on like each year is going to be different in terms of that. But this year does feel like one where the most popular lineup is likely going to get upset.
Yeah, and because we would have if the Bills had even like the 2 seed, or they were in the spot that the Patriots were in or something with like a home game as like 5-point favorites, like the Allen chalk would be so wildly different, than it would be as like a bear, a road team that's, essentially in a coin flip. So like the dynamics of even some of these stud teams this year, even like the Eagles, where it's, people are going to be afraid of the Niners. Like people are going to want to play these games, like Pat was saying, as not deciding a winner. They're going to want to play 2 skill position players from those games.
Yeah. And another thing to note is that this is a tournament where we do see massive ownership on individual players. So just to like give people, if you're not like super familiar with this tournament, we're going to be starting to say some numbers that are going to seem like maybe insane, but like over the last 3 seasons, here's the guys I've had projected for over 65% or 65% or higher ownership. So Austin Eckler back in 2022, I had at 66. He came in at 70. Christian McCaffrey had at 71. He came in at 77. Travis Kelce had at 75. He came in at 74. And Justin Jefferson I had at 78. He came in at 77. The year before, I had Amon-Ra at 70, 78. I had Tyreek Hill at 73. He came in at 50. People faded the Dolphins in that cold weather game. McCaffrey had at 85. He came in at 79. CeeDee Lamb had at 90. He came in at 87%. Justin Jefferson, this is last year, I had at 69. He came in at 78. So I missed almost 10% low. Kelce, I had at 69, came in at 67. Puka, 76, came in at 74. And Saquon, I had at 76. He came in at 69%. So like these big chalk pieces are both fairly predictable and they get up there. Sometimes I miss low, not high.
All right. Welcoming to the show, the Boomer Whisperer himself, broadcasting from a hotel unknown, I believe. Welcome to the show, Hassan.
Thank you.
He's rattled. The chat was wondering what country you're cursing out as you're on late right now.
Picks up the mic.
Thank you very much.
Hassan, talk about your process here. I'm going to get pulled up on the screen last year's Boomer Opto just so people can kind of look forward to what they're going to get tonight. But tell people what you're trying to do with this exercise.
So we run 3 very difficult models, right? The first one is the buffet model. So you spend like all of December at like the Golden Corral, and every basically early bird buffet. The second one is, and that's where you run your simulations. Every conversation is a simulation. So you get it's a very time consuming process. You get about 100 sims in. That's a good way to start. And then the second model is where you really gotta like lower your IQ. You gotta like drink as much as humanly possible. And just when you think you're gonna potentially black out, that's when you say no and you gotta power through and wake up in the hospital. That's when you have an epiphany.
Okay, but how is this lowering your IQ? This sounds like how I try to raise my IQ.
Buddy, like just spending like a month in just spending 2 weeks from like a hospital bed with like IV fluids and then have your significant other switch out for vodka. It's a good way to go, Kill as many brain cells as possible.
Let me just say before we dive into this year's and stuff. Last year, this Boomer Opto, so that lineup that I mentioned, it was duped 16 times, is a 2v2 off of the Boomer Opto that swapped in Broncos D and Packers fade. That was the only difference.
Wow.
If
you take away one thing from tonight, whatever is filled out on this page by the end of the night, do not put that into the contest. we are begging you.
The Boomer Opto that we had here was duped 15 times, not 16. So it was the second. So this Boomer Opto was pretty damn close.
I will say though, if FFPC wants to offer an FFPC Playoff Challenge double up, by all means, you should be jamming the lineup that we build tonight.
Cash Game Pete carrying over into FFPC week.
That's
But
right.
do you guys think it will be tougher this year because there are so many live teams, because of the tight end question? I feel like you guys are dealing with a bigger challenge this year. I don't think the Boomer Optos is straightforward.
I think it's pretty straightforward.
Call it a shot.
I think there's a couple pivots off the Boomer Opto. There's like probably it might be like last year where we see like a 16 dupe and then a 15 dupe and then a 14 dupe or something, but there's like a pretty strong. So I took a look at what Hassan has. We are 2v2 off of one another. So we're in.
Let's start releasing it.
Stuff.
Yeah, let's do it. Hassan, I mean, you don't have to start with quarterback. You can, if you want to start with what you think is going to be the most popular pick in the entire contest, that could be another way we could go about it. It's a dealer's choice here for you.
Let's go with Puka Nacua.
Okay. Speak on that.
I mean, there's just, he's basically like the RB1, but he plays wide receiver for some reason, you know?
He's like a running back level of comfort.
Yeah.
That's right. Boomers love target share.
They love targets. They love target share.
Target share.
Targets per game.
We were the thing that's
So
fascinating to me about Puka too is we're coming off of a stretch where Devonta Adams was out, and Devonta Adams was eating his lunch at the goal line for a good chunk of the season. But that like feels like a distant memory right now. Puka's coming off of some massive games. It's also interesting, like most people aren't expecting this to be a competitive game. Like the spread indicates a massive blowout, which could point to more second half running, more Corum, more Kyren. It is kind of interesting that like I can poke holes, like I'm trying to do it in the Puka stuff, but I do not think Boomers are going to try to poke holes in Puka.
The other part of the huge spread that you were talking about is you feel really confident about 2 games. So when you feel really confident about multiple games, you tend to like the better plays on the team better because you're reducing variance over multiple games. You feel more variance to fade a guy like Puka if they might lose in one game and he just gets shut down.
Right.
Like that happened to Jefferson last year. You mentioned Jefferson as chalk last year, and Hawkinson ended up outscoring him. We had some good Hawkinson pivot teams on the Monday night game, and we were pretty pumped when Hawkinson outscored him in one game. The key thing was one game. The other part of the Puka, I mean, you're right that people are going to think about the running backs in the win against Carolina, but you think about that second game and the Rams maybe eventually losing or just winning the Super Bowl. You're like, I mean, Puka's going to be a huge part of a long Rams run, is he not? I mean,
he is. And
yeah, go ahead, Pat.
Well, we've seen a couple things. Like I just pulled up back a few years ago when kind of Cooper Kupp was in like full Cooper Kupp mode. He was 88% owned back in 2021. No, sorry, I had him projected 88. I missed low. He was 91. And then one of my biggest misses ever was from that year where I had Deebo Samuel at 37%. He came in at 64%. Pete was all over this, is talking about how comfy he was because that was the year where he was getting all like the running back use and stuff.
Right.
And it's just like
it was script independent we were talking about.
Script
if they win, you'll run. Yeah.
Yeah, the touches are there. And I think like with Puka, obviously he's going to be the highest on Ran. That's not the question. The question is how high will he get? But that comfort level is something to not underestimate in this contest where people are just going to, like, they don't want to have to guess if Devontae Adams is going to score a touchdown. They know Puka's going to get targets. He's going to be very, very, very big chalk.
But should he be? I mean, can you pivot off of this?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think you can pivot off of it. I think he should be pretty big chalk, though.
He should be pretty chalk. He should be.
Yeah. What is the story you're telling if you're pivoting off of Puka? Is it Carolina wins? In which case, what's that pivot look like?
I don't like that. So I'm already out on that story.
Yeah, exactly. That's where it gets a little bit tricky.
You need that to be live to tell yourself a story. The year Cup, you were talking about 2021, Cup did not have a good first game, but they won. They went on to win the Super Bowl. And when you play multiple games, that's a great example of that. Cup ends up being the Super Bowl MVP at the end of that. He has a great playoff run. they had to lose in the first round for you to feel good about having pivoted off of him. But they're not going to lose in the first round to Carolina this year, like the Puka version of it.
Yeah, they're huge favorites. Like, and then even if they do lose, Puka's still probably the guy you want.
Right.
You know? Like, and he's likely to outscore DK Metcalf or whatever in their losses. So it's just it is a tough fade. I don't have him like that uber chalk like Cooper Kupp was that year. I have him at 72% right now. I actually don't have him as the highest owned projected player at the moment. Maybe that's wrong, but you know, I've 72% is really high. It's just not like everybody, because I think some people will play Kyron a little bit, some people play Adams, but the thing with Adams
and Stafford, you can play Stafford.
Stafford, you can play Stafford
a little bit. Yeah, I think the tricky part with Stafford, my guess is that a lot of Stafford lineups become Puka lineups. Like you start with Stafford, and then at the end you're like,
you just
Puka.
Yeah, but if Stafford's throwing all these touchdowns, then it's probably Puka.
Probably goes to Puka. Let's just swap. You know what? Cook to Allen.
I'm just gonna.
I think the way the fully healthy version of the Rams has looked this year, and we've seen the games where it ping ponged of like a big Devontae game, kind of pulling down and flipping Puka in scoring. Like I can see the Stafford thesis, like more so in like a 3-game run. I would say like you get a Devontae game, a Puka game, and like the rando tight end game, and it's Stafford. I feel like if you get to, you know, the Super Bowl, or I guess in this case, if you get to the Super Bowl, the 4 games, then it's like, man, Puka's probably really hard to beat in a 4-game scenario.
It's easier maybe to tell yourself Stafford can work because like Allen has such a high chance to lose in round 1. If the Broncos go to the Super Bowl, you might have Bo Nix not scoring a ton of points. Like Stafford could, in 3 games, separate himself from the rest of the quarterbacks enough to be the guy you want, even if Puka plays well.
This is a weird year where we at least, even if the optimal lineup doesn't necessarily have a quarterback who goes to the Super Bowl, we typically see the quarterback chalk come from the teams who have the highest chances to make the Super Bowl. And I'm not sure we get that this year. In fact, I don't think we get that this year because those teams would be the Seahawks, the Broncos, and the Rams. We just talked about, you know, Puka's ultimately comfier than Stafford. Adams is a pretty enticing pivot. Stafford's not a bad play, but I don't think he's the chalk. And then like Darnold's not the chalk, obviously, and Bo Nix is not the chalk. So you have teams that, you know, the quarterback chalk is going to come from teams that have sub 20% chance to even make the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
which is pretty odd.
All right, Hassan, who is our next player we're going to slot in here?
This is the one that I wanted to get. Is this the guy who's the highest owned in your projections, Pat? JSN?
Yeah, JSN's the highest for me. So I think there's no real other option. Like you're really playing Ken Walker.
Are you gonna pick Ken Walker? Zach Charbonnet?
Yeah, there's no other receiver to go to. I have it 78%. I'm probably low. I probably
low. But it's so hard to get him to, like, when you do like the bottoms up build on the projection, to get him to like 92% feels so. When you're looking at all the adjustments you're making, you're like, this makes no sense.
Well, I have a little fade, like a little D for them, and I think over the course of the week, I'm just like, I think everybody, you know, we're just going, yeah, I like this better if I play JSN. I think that stuff, you know, and Barner, I had a little bit, but that's probably I'll try to take it down.
That's such a tough. I mean, Barner's a tough pick. Kupp's a tough pick, right?
I think the play is that some people are gonna be willing to fade the Seahawks as a 1 seed, like with the Lions last year. Like say that they're going to get upset. They have Sam Darnold. They're not that good.
Yeah. That's still what, 5% max?
I have it at 8 right now, but
I think it's higher than 5. I think it's closer to 10.
That includes kicker defense.
Kicker D, right?
I got JSN up to 81 by lowering some of the other skills, so that's probably where he is.
That's probably it.
Yeah. And it's so hard too, because I'm trying to think like, okay, how do you do if you do a pivot that's not just a fade or a soft fade on Seattle, it's obviously one of the running backs. First, you got to pick which one. I think you need the Niners to win, because you want the Niners to come there with a bad run defense. But then if they're having success on the ground and they're winning, then you're getting another game of JSN in the NFC Championship game where is that running back in a split really going to be able to do it twice over JSN?
Because of the split, it's really impossible to tell yourself that story when you look at what JSN did this year. Like, I was looking at his
I'm
game
lowering
log
these guys
earlier
even more.
today.
Yeah.
I was looking at his game log earlier today. He had fewer than 70 receiving yards one time all year.
Yeah, it just
It's nuts.
There's like no. It's a really difficult story. I mean, like he is like a 40-point upside kind of guy, like any week, right? And so like,
yeah, he's got to be.
Yeah, you probably just want to fade the Seahawks. Like you just want them to lose.
Instead, it's like you can play. There's probably a world where you can play Charbonnet or Walker, but like,
I don't think you can.
Well, if you want. I don't know. You could.
Is there been
Walker.
a game all year where either of those guys has outscored JSN? Like maybe that's happened once all year. Like I think you have to fade them. The Seahawks.
Can you play Walker or Charbonnet in a bracket or not in a lineup that's a Seahawks loss?
I don't think so. I think you want to play Barner or something. Like Pat was saying. I think you want to get into these weird receiving plays probably.
I mean, Barner's more interesting to me because you just like pray he scores a touchdown in garbage. Kind of like they have to
tight
throw.
Tight end as a position has pressure on it. There's not a lot of good tight end answers. So if he scored like 12 points, he could still wind up being the answer. That's the other constraint. We always talk about the team constraint. We don't necessarily always talk about the positional constraint, but there's an element where like Barner can be right if there's a lot of good receivers. Even if he scores less than JSN and there's not a lot of good tight ends, right? Like
that's right. Yeah.
One other thing, Pat, did we mention the multiplier for the Super Bowl scoring when we?
Yeah, it's two times in the Super Bowl. Yeah, we did, but it's good to repeat.
Yeah, because that's the other thing with JSN and these teams that have the good Super Bowl odds. If you're then getting the multiplier in the Super Bowl, it's like the good players separate even more.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about, how we can pivot off JSN, but he's like the one guy in this contest where I'm anticipating close to 90% ownership, and I'm still like, I'm going to play him anyway.
I got him up to 8. As we're talking, I'm literally going around to every Seahawk that's not JSN. I'm like, do you need this? No, probably not. And I'm just throwing it to JSN.
there's a comment in the chat about like how the TE player pool is fine, and like the thing is like, yeah, it's fine. There's just other players on those teams that will be chalk picks where the tight ends are, right? Like Kittle, you don't want to play Kittle over CMC.
You don't want to play Kittle.
Right.
You don't want to play Hunter Henry over any of the over May or the running back.
Well, people play some Henry for this.
No, people will. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think like Dalton Kincaid, people are gonna play a little bit. Like people are gonna. You have to find a tight. It's hard to find a tight end. I don't think people are gonna love the tight end that you're gonna put in this Boomer Opto as much as I think you guys think that. Well, Pat, when I was talking to Pat earlier, I think you're thinking he's gonna be chalkier than maybe I think he's gonna be. I don't know.
I don't know. I think he will. I think he will be. There's not other options.
There's nothing else.
Right.
That's the issue.
Part of it. Yeah.
It's process of elimination as you work backwards into it.
The thing is too, so like Gadsden is getting floated in the chat. People aren't going to want to play a Charger a lot. That's a team that people are going to want to fade. So now you take Gadsden, you have to play. Now you got to figure out another team you're not playing a player from. So that's Dalton Schultz is somewhat interesting, but you're obviously
Schultz is interesting.
Schultz, and I think Brenton Strange is going to catch ownership.
Brenton Strange might get some, because
it's a little. I'm not sure he's going to be super popular, but maybe
I'd say sentiment is pretty low on Strange.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
I think Schultz is a secondary chalk.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm with that.
Sorry, you want to do the tight end pick here, Hassan?
Let's do the tight end. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's Loveland. It just has to be.
Yeah.
Like that's and keep me honest on this one, guys. But like this was like a pure process of elimination kind of pick here.
Yeah,
right.
And also recency bias, right? Like when you combine
the part
those
of it that makes me question it is that I think you guys are right. I think Loveland is the chalk tight end, but because it's a process of elimination pick, that's what makes people think that's the spot I want to pivot.
Yeah, and that's where I think people will pivot. And I don't think it'll be like a mega chalk situation, but like this is like who will come in as the most commonly owned tight end. Does that make sense? Like this, like it won't. You don't need him to be like 50% plus. Like this is going to be like a.
He won't be 50%.
It'll be like 25 to 33% owned, and that's just enough to like edge him over any of the other ones.
Yeah, he'll be owned a lot. I'm not trying to say he's not going to be owned a lot, but
yeah. It's the perfect storm again, where you kind of have a split backfield. You have 3 wide receivers that people don't. I mean, if people were going to pick a favorite, it'd obviously be Burden. But even then, that feels a little sketchy with Rome coming back. And now Loveland's coming off of 2 massive games.
Yeah, right.
It all lines up. People are going to want to play both sides of that. They're going to want to play a Packer. They're going to want to play a Bears guy. It just funnels you to Loveland.
Yeah. And, it's tight end premium. So people generally want like, a decent option. Back when Tyreek Hill was on the Chiefs in 2021, Kelsey still came in at 51%. The year before he was at 66%. And typically we've seen tight end. Now this wasn't actually true last year. Last year people played 1.2 tight ends. That was actually true. Or the year before it was 1.35. The year before that 1.4. This year I have like projections that people are going to play 1.15 tight ends. So not really going to be flexing a tight end this year. But I still have Loveland as fairly heavy because you're not going to see. It's just like it's going to be spread out after that. So I'm at 40%, and not massive shock, but
Goddard could catch some ownership. Hunter Henry could catch some ownership. Kittle could catch some ownership, and that could take away. But I don't think they'll catch enough to displace Loveland, right?
All 3 of those guys have big opportunity costs on their own team.
Exactly, that's the issue.
And Loveland does not.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's where someone like Brendan Strange becomes more interesting because you don't have as many options on the Jaguars to play.
Right. There's an element of like, there's a possibility that tight end is so low scoring overall that you just want the tight end who scores a little bit on a team where no one else scores. Kind of like you were just saying with Strange. Like if BTN has a bad game, especially if they lose, right? And like maybe their best receiving weapon is like Parker Washington, but no one's actually playing him. Like Strange winds up being a pretty solid tight end play if he just has like 6 catches in tight end premium, you know?
I do think that's the extension of it being like a weak tight end. Like the opportunity cost, you're probably not going to get buried by someone catching 10 balls. And so finding the one guy who catches 6 or 7 could be the leverage pivot you need.
Yeah. And I don't think Strange is a bad play at all. I've been a little skeptical that he'd be all that high play, but that might be wrong because in the chat, people are kind of interested in Strange as well. So I think
he's a good play. Low. I just don't think he's going to be popular.
It's funny,
but I have him like 5%. He might be closer to 10.
Yeah,
Strange.
Yeah,
it's funny. Like, you look at the Jaguars, a team that is, kind of expected to win, but the most popular play might be fade, right? Well,
I don't think so. I think the most popular play is ETN.
ETN, yeah, I'm with that 100%. I think that's the most popular play.
But
these guys, it sounds like these guys both have it in the Boomer or Opto, but this is what Pat and I were talking about before. And I told him I was kind of messing around. I was looking at his ownership and kind of messing around with what the Boomer or Opto might be. And Blair, I wound up with Jags DST on my version of it. That's what I was thinking, but
yeah,
I think Cam Little will be more played than the
more
played.
Yeah,
100%.
Because of a high over under, that makes sense. I was thinking the Jags D is like a good unit, but the Bills are a tough matchup.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, you could almost, if you think about a D, right? Like you almost think of it. I guess we can discuss this as we get to that position, but like the way I was thinking of it when I was building this out was it becomes a proxy for a soft fade, right? Like if you're trying to really jam as many skill guys to get that nice projection, or like a median projection of whatever your roster looks like defense almost becomes a soft fade from like a Boomer perspective.
Well, defense is a soft fade.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll get to that. I think that there's like some.
Yeah, let's
points.
save D because that's actually where we have.
That's actually an interesting. Yeah, we do. Do we have a disagreement there?
But
we do. But it's not. I think your lineup might actually be the right one, but my
You both said
mine's different.
ETN just now.
Yeah.
We should add ETN more like
It's
a
at
flex.
ETN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that just confirming?
Put him in the flex.
Yeah.
Put him in the
Just
flex,
put him in,
'cause
put
he's
him in
not-
the flex. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a flex. Look how little he is.
I know. Look how little he is.
Yeah.
That laugh is so funny. Oh my god. Clip that and just like play that every time ETN
Yeah.
does something.
That's real rich.
Look how little
from the
he
guy.
is.
That's real rich for the guy who had him as Trevor ETN in his first pass to the spread.
Well, you know.
right there. Yeah.
Well, we're hoping it'd work out.
Yes. All right. Let's see here. Where do you want to go from here, Hassan?
I think there's a pretty, in all honesty, I do want to go to running back, and I think Saquon is the one that I want to go with here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this one's just obvious, right? Like there's just so many, like I think he's still like you don't want to pick Hurts, right? And I think just by process of elimination, if you're not playing Goddard, right? Like you're playing Saquon, you're not going to play either of the wide receivers. I think that just by virtue, he's not going to be like a smash pick here, but like I think he's going to catch the most ownership.
Do you think like how big do you think he is? Because I have him as kind of secondary chalk with AJ Brown getting some, Devontae Smith not being completely unknown. Do you think it's like I have it 2-1? Do you think it's like more like 3-1?
No, I think you're right. Like I don't think it's like a smash. I don't think it's a smash because there's a lot of interesting pieces on the Eagles that will be flat ownership, but Saquon will come out ahead. Does that make sense? So I feel like the right pivot. This is the right team to build pivots off of if you want to get unique.
Saquon was at 69 last year. I have him at 50 this year.
That also feels a little high to me, like 40 to like 45% probably. Because
nobody wants to play the receivers this year. Last
year, no one wants to
play
play the receivers.
Yeah.
No one wants to play the receivers. The other thing working in Saquon's favor is people are excited about this matchup versus the Niners. They've given up some massive, so that'll feel.
Yes, it's the run defense thing.
That's also just on the ETN point. I think one reason that he does end up being the chalk for the Jags is that you get the Bills' run defense in the first round, and that's like both a narrative and like true. Like that is a great spot, and people know it's a great spot. I think that helps him.
This is such a great Boomer Opto pick from the perspective that he was better in prior years than this year. He had 120-point PPR game all season this year, and yet they are going to jam this old running back. Like they're so excited to play Saquon.
It's kind of like the Loveland effect. Obviously, he's the opposite as far as being a dusty veteran as opposed to an exciting young rookie, but you just kind of naturally get funneled there because none of the other stuff feels great.
Mm-hmm. Saquon feels like a pretty good fade, someone to pivot off of. Not that he's a bad play, but if he does come in at 50 and Brown's at like 25 and Smith's at 6, which is how I currently have it, Goddard at 8, then I think
even Hurts at 1 or 2, right? Like those are all perfectly good.
I have Hurts at 8 actually, but that might be too high.
The funny thing is,
I think he'll be kind of popular. Hurts.
You do?
Well, I mean, 8 is kind of relatively popular compared to.
Am I a boomer because I want to play Saquon? Like how it was a terrible decision to bench their starters last week. Like they could have got the 2 seed. I don't know what they were doing. But they get this matchup with the Niners run D, and Saquon now is coming like off a bye. Like he's gonna be maybe a little fresh. They're gonna call way too many runs. Like Nick Sirianni wants to do that
for sure
so bad. He's gonna get 25 carries in this game against a bad run D. It's probably a good play.
I will say just in general, I feel like Eagles chalk, whoever it is, strikes me as bad chalk in that we know the modes of how these teams can win. There could be the Hurts game. AJB or Devonta can both have the alpha game. If they win and Bears win, like you go and play the Bears in round 2, like the Bears pass defense is atrocious. Like one of those guys could light them up hard. That's the one thing of like, once you get into 2-game scenarios with these guys, like all bets are off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
we
agree.
might as well we might as well sticking with old but a very talented running back. We can go with CMC here as the other running. I mean, we talked. This is the guy who's preventing Kittle from being anywhere near where he should be.
Kittle would be huge chalk if not for CMC. But
yeah, and that's it. Like that's CMC. Yeah, like especially coming off the season that he just had, the fact that there's really like no real viable receivers. This is probably the third most owned guy on the slate. You know what I mean?
I think that's how I have it. Yeah, I mean,
has to be. Yeah, there's just no way.
You don't think that there could be a way in which it kind of works the opposite, where Kittle, because there aren't a lot of other tight end options, actually keeps CMC's ownership down.
Blair, I'm begging you just to go to the Sizzler. You know, for the Boomer Opto, we're all supposed to go to Sizzler.
Go sort by fantasy.
Not
PPR
enough simulations,
points.
I guess.
Fantasy PPR points per game. He had 24.5 this year. RB2 was 22, 2.5 points per game clear. And then he was hurt last year. The year prior, he was like 3.3 points clear. I was just looking at the actual results for a piece that I'm working on right now. I mean, he was so clear of everyone else. People are CMC is getting played a ton, dude.
CMC is getting played a ton.
You can't even do the like, play the Niners in a loss with like Kittle or Juwan Jennings because CMC's going to catch 8 balls in a loss. Yeah. Like the entire fourth quarter is going to be him catching 3-yard checkdowns.
It's going to be
It's hard to get there, but I can see myself maybe. Not enough simulations, obviously, but as a boomer, I filled in CMC and then I get to tight end and I'm like, well, can't play him.
Yeah,
gotta be Kittle. I take CMC out.
You might be onto something there.
But I just don't see the public doing that, right? Like, so maybe I think from like an ownership perspective, right? Like if you think of it from like if he's gonna catch, let's say 50% ownership, right? Are you underweight the field at that like 50%? That feels heavy.
No, right? I have him at 72.
So you have 72. Holy. Oh yeah, that's right. Third most owned guy in the state. Yeah. So you want to be underweight the field at that amount. You know what I mean? Like you definitely don't want to match the field at all.
Maybe.
To be clear, I'm not
suggesting. The greatest fantasy running back of all time.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know that he's like such a clear fade. Like I think they're live to win that game. I think he could.
Yeah, they're very live.
Smash and a loss. And I mean, he's kind of tough chalk to fade. I also think that the pivot will probably be Kittle here and not a fade. We've seen, so they don't have great odds to win this week. It works out to about a 36% chance that they win. But we've seen like last year, the Vikings, actually the better example is the Rams last year only had a 44% chance to win, only 7% total soft fades and hard fades on the Rams. 2 years ago, it was also the Rams, 36% chance of playing round 2, and they had a 5% total fade. The year before, it was the Chargers with Eckler, who was 70% owned there, only 6% of the field total soft and hard faded the Chargers. I have the 49ers at 6% total fade. Everyone's playing 49. It's either McCaffrey or Kittle, probably.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, it's also, Kittle's coming off the injury. He misses the game. He comes back, doesn't do a ton in that game against Seattle. There's not a lot of like, if he had just dropped like a 30-burger FFPC scoring, then it's like, all right, like, but the sentiment's just not there. And CMC's coming off of, 2 great games, 3 great games.
Yep.
All right, where are we going next, Hassan?
We can go with the Texans. I think it's Nico Collins is going to be the chalk, right? Like I think that he's going to be the chalk Texans guy. And there's just no other way to like think about this one. I mean, you're not playing any of the rookie wide receivers. Dalton Schultz is a fairly gross click, right? There's no one on running back you want to play, and I feel like you're playing Houston to win that game. Right. And it's got to be Nico in 2 games. You know what I mean?
I think we do have the same Boomer Opto. Maybe you had something else in here that Nico is the one I didn't see. So I also have Nico in the Opto. I think he won't be like huge chalk because there will be some people who fade the Texans. in a couple different ways. I think Fairbairn will catch a little ownership. I think their defense will catch a little ownership. And I think Schultz will be played as well.
Well, yeah,
I think he's a secondary tight end chalk. So Collins isn't like a uber played piece of chalk, but I still have him at 46%. So like plenty of people still on him. And I do think he's the best bet for the Boomer Opto most two lineup.
Yeah. It's the run out with them getting the Steelers is really interesting because it was a couple or before week 18 where I was like, Texans D, man, it's going to be 70%, in this spot. But now that people like them to win, now people aren't going to want to play the defense in 2 games.
Right.
Yep. Exactly.
Although their defense has been optimal in multiple games.
I know.
Over the last 2 years.
I just feel like playing the defense is spiritually the Boomer play. And yet if the Boomers are playing Nico, we might have to be piling in on some Texans defense.
No, Texans D is going to catch a lot of ownership just because in fantasy, generally, people look at past results and say, well, that happened last time, so it's going to happen this time. And people who are tracking what happened the last couple of years with Texans DST, they're going to overstate it. Like they've had defensive touchdowns 2 years in a row in a win in the first round, and their skill position players have not scored a lot. That's pattern matching. I mean, it's not a thing that's like predictive, right? But that's just the way those 2 games played. And anyway, here we are. People are going to play them.
But you can talk yourself into that story just because of the fact that you got like a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers behind a makeshift O-line. Yeah, like it's just not like you can talk yourself into it.
There's a pivot off of the Boomer Opto that this I think will end up being that is Texans D.
Yeah,
that Hassan had in our sheet, and I think that will be also very, very popular. So,
So
I think this is the way I have it, but I agree with you, Beth. Texans D is going to be played.
It is good. Like they'd be the second most popular player of the Texans, I think.
I don't have it.
No,
it'd be close.
It'll be Nico, then Schultz and Texans D. Right? Or unless you got Fairbairn.
Fairbairn. See, the thing is, Fairbairn's going to get played too. So I don't think people just jam the Texans D. I was looking at some projections for the playoffs and stuff, and Fairbairn projects really well as the kicker.
He does, yeah.
I love this comment in the chat. After all these years, aren't you Boomers by now? I mean, it's definitely happening in my life.
Not yet.
We are
show on ADP chasing. They were like, Boomers are like 80 years old anyway. It's a spiritual sense. Yeah.
You can.
It's really a mindset.
Yeah, you can be 23 years old and still have Boomer tendencies.
For sure.
Who's next?
Yeah, Hassan, you want to get us our quarterback? What do you think?
So this is, I think, this is where I really struggled with, but ultimately I decided to go with Josh Allen here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is where I just think that like there's a couple of ways that I think this could work, and I think the story you tell yourself is, again, it's like it was between him and May, and I think that like ultimately the way I thought about it was, if you can get 50 points out of either of them, you're more likely to get out of Allen. And in the event that you beat the Jags, now you're free rolling your quarterback, and that's who I wound up taking because I think that the pivot here is James Cook, right? And I think that Josh Allen becomes easier, particularly against the Jags. In a loss, you could probably score 50. In a win, you're free rolling your exposure there.
But then who are you playing from the fact that James Cook is so much more appealing than the Pats alternative?
Right.
It's a loss. Josh Allen could score 50.
Probably.
I think it's Drake May because you have James Cook is such a comfy click on the Bills.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like this is where I wanted to pressure test it because like the other one I had was like I really like struggled on this one, and it was Travion Henderson that I decided to go with as like the flex other option.
Travion's not a Boomer.
The Boomers prefer Ramondre straight up.
Right. See, that's the thing. I don't know, right? Like that was the one where I initially had like Ramondre penciled in, and then I was like, I really can't see that because like if you're playing, like again, you're still playing.
Prefer Ramondre straight up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
the problem is that James Cook is Ramondre and Henderson rolled into one
combined.
That's like the issue, and that's like where I kept going back and forth. And
Hassan,
that was where
I've been spending enough time in the Sizzler, man. I don't know what you were doing when you were running late this year, but
I mean, I do see this as being.
Hassan was in some like pop-up, like trendy.
No, it's a tough one though, right? Like when you think about this is the one we want.
It's closer than like it's. I don't think Drake May is obvious. I think
it's not.
Just the name recognition of Josh Allen makes him.
It's like,
viable there.
Here's the thing.
This is a conversation that's really about James Cook. James Cook, I have as the fourth highest owned play on the slate, and I think people will play the crap out of James Cook. He's comfy. You don't have to predict whether or not the Bills go to the Super Bowl and you have James Cook, you feel great. You feel great.
If Stephon Diggs didn't have such a weird season and didn't have like weird off-field stuff going on, then you might be able to tell yourself the Josh Allen Stephon Diggs story, right? But like the Pats don't have that.
Well, like the thing is like, I mean, like that was what was initially taking me to like Hunter Henry there. If like we knew Stephon Diggs was not going to play at all in the playoffs, right? Like then Hunter Henry becomes the easiest click, right? But like we don't, right? And that's where I was like really struggling at the quarterback position because these were the two that I was looking at, and I do think this is like the 1v1 that's going to be the most duped, like off Boomer Opto, right? Like this is going to be like whatever this is going to be the most duped. I think the 1v1 of Allen and a Pats RB,
and I think you see a little pivot. I think you see Allen, ETN becomes Cam Little,
and
then you end up with a free flex that's probably a Packer or something. But
exactly.
Actually, when I first did the ownership, I had Allen higher than May, but as I went through it, it's like I think ultimately James Cook becomes just enough of a draw where you have that like 2v2 of Henderson, Allen, or May Cook, and I think a lot of people choose.
There's also the seeding thing where you want your quarterback to win, and May's the 2 seed, and you get the second round home game, and you tell yourself this story: the Pats are home and home. Allen's road.
Chargers are also going to be faded.
Yeah, they are
at a very high rate. So when you have a fade, even if it's a soft fade, it makes it easier to play the quarterback opposite that. So I think, I don't have May as like huge chalk or anything. I have him actually just 3% higher than Allen. So I do, in a sense, I think it's
tough.
Is a coin flip.
This is the one that's tough, right? Like,
where do
you
higher owned quarterback is tough. I don't think that Cook and Allen will be close though. I think Allen will be almost like half as played as Cook,
and
not
also
quite, but close.
Pat is artificially lowering May's ownership percentage so that we'll have to play him more in our lineups as we go.
No, that's not right. No, I'm not doing
that.
It's just people the Cook feels like you can middle it, right? Like Cook even in a loss, where to Gretch's point, there's a psychological barrier from playing a quarterback who could be one and done, even though the way this contest works, like it could certainly be a one and done quarterback if they go nuts, but just psychologically that does not feel good playing a road team in essentially a coin flip there.
Going back to the seeding question, where do you have Bo Nix coming in? Like he's someone who's not that comfortable to play, but you look at a team that has a good chance to make it to the Super Bowl. Who else are you going to play on that team, really?
Sutton. I think Sutton should be on this, right?
Probably the play. Yeah, Sutton's probably that play. Or you could take RJ Harvey or Sutton. Yeah, Harvey or Sutton.
I've struggled with this one though. You guys think Sutton will be more popular?
I think realistically from the chalk perspective, I don't think
that even.
I mean, I think the old narrative that you want your QB on a Super Bowl team still holds some.
I think it holds more this year than ever. I was talking to you guys about how I'm writing a little piece, or I just mentioned it about it's called What Even Happened in 2025, because I feel like this was a weird year. Fun story about the 2025 quarterback landscape that plays in here. Josh Allen led all quarterbacks in rushing yards with 579 this year. We had 3 guys over. We had 2 guys around 900 last year. So I think we had 5 guys over 700 just a couple years back in 2022. So no one hitting 600 QB rushing yards is weird. It's the highest QB rushing yardage total since the 2009 season, since David Garrard led. Like, we were supposed to be in a mobile QB era, but anyway.
Almost all of them got hurt though.
The way that plays in is that idea of 2-game stuff. As recently as last year was Jane Daniels with the mobility, was Josh Allen with the mobility, was Lamar Jackson with the mobility. We don't have that. I think it goes back this year to what Blair is saying. You need to have a QB that's going all the way to the Super Bowl, has the double point bonus. Like, if the Jags go to the Super Bowl, Trevor Lawrence is viable. If the Rams go to the Super Bowl, maybe not because of Puka, but there's I think the Super Bowl QB.
That's the other problem, though. If you go to the if I tell you you're in the Super Bowl, do you want Sam Darnold or JSN?
JSN.
No, you want JSN.
You want JSN.
Yeah.
And you have
but then
two
you want
of
the
those
AFC.
Stafford
You want the
Puka.
AFC. Well, then you want the AFC QB in that spot, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's more.
But people won't
that's more
build
obvious,
their lineups
but
like that.
It's
But
Knicks
that's two of the
versus
top.
Sutton.
There's 3 teams with a 29% plus chance to make the Super Bowl, and those are 2 of them. The Seahawks and the Rams, where you don't even really necessarily want the quarterback. So I agree with you, but it's also like tricky. Who's that team? Like, who are you actually picking to go to the Super Bowl? It's not going to condense that way, because they're all kind of long shots, you know.
Yep. All right, Hassan, we have one more flex. Then we're getting to the 2 soft fades, which will reveal the hard fades there. Although the hard fades, I feel like those are the easiest there, because those are pretty. You want to go there now?
Yeah, let's just go with it. You got the Panthers. We talked about that. The Panthers are an easy one.
Yep.
And we can go with the second, and the Steelers are the second one, right? Like, it's no one wants to play these teams.
No,
at all. Like, no, like they're like, it just feels bad. Like, there's no other way to put it. Like,
I don't have the Steelers hard fade as in the Boomer Opto.
What? Really? Are you
Chargers?
I have
Boswell. Yeah.
No, I have their D.
Who's your hard fade?
Packers.
Packers.
That's
Oh yeah. So that was
that's crazy.
That's wild,
Packers.
Man. So
Is
I
there-
was
is there-
both need to go back to the Sizzler. They're favored. They're favored
Yeah,
in the
they're
first
favored.
Since on
round.
the Packers,
Yeah.
They were favored. I think it swung to the Bears.
No, it swung back.
Showing
They're
Yeah.
favored.
by minus
Okay.
1.5.
Yeah.
You're,
And
you're
I-
hard
since I left the
fading a
Sizzler-
favored team that has Josh Jacobs,
Yeah,
and you're
that's-
calling that the
that's-
Boomer Opto?
that's the
You
last flex
look
I
at the
had.
stuff.
was
Look at
Josh
the stuff
Jacobs.
for their defense. The Packers defense has scored like shit, and it's not projected
Yeah.
to do anything. Their kicker doesn't do much. So you're
Yeah, so
if you're not
you're right.
fading them.
Have you ever heard of Josh Jacobs?
Yeah, you're. I mean, you're right.
Well, it's
Pat.
not
Like, this
about
is the
Josh
one that I
Jacobs.
struggled
I'm-
with.
I'm not-
Boomers have been holding his ADP up since 2022 or whenever his good year was.
This is
Well,
the one that I
it's
struggled
not about
with, too.
Josh Jacobs versus. It's about, do you play the soft fade or hard fade? I have them as
Yeah.
a fade, as one of the 4 fades. Who's the other fade?
Why?
Then? I think you have it as Jacksonville. Maybe
I had it as Jacksonville's DST.
It's
Yeah, it is
Jacksonville.
tough. This is the squeeze.
So I don't think.
But I
so
think
that's the
Jacobs is close to being in the lineup.
He
Yeah,
is
like,
close. He is
I
close.
have
And then that
Jacobs
Allen
in.
lineup, the Allen version of this goes Cam Little and Jacobs.
That's
the
so I
Allen
don't have.
number?
So I don't have Cam Little in mind. I have Jacobs though, but I don't have Cam Little in mind because I have ETN. But yeah, this is like the interesting part, right? Because like I wanted to fade the pack really bad. Like, I thought they were the hard fade, and Boswell became your kicker, right?
No, Dicker becomes your kicker.
Yeah, but like I was like playing around with several structures of this, but Dicker is the actual kicker as well. Like that's who I have, and then I had Jacobs there, and then that makes your like I had the Broncos as a fade. As a
Who's
soft-
your kicker, Pat? Dicker?
Is it Dicker?
Dicker.
See,
Yeah, so
the more we think about this, I like the DST call from Pat on the Steelers. That game has the lowest total on the week, 39.5 at home. That feels really comfy. I think the hard fade could be the Chargers. Nothing feels good on the Chargers right now.
The
Dicker
kicker
was
does.
the
Dicker, the
Dicker
kicker.
does.
Kicker
Dicker.
on the road in New England, it's like 20 degrees here. That doesn't sound like a comfy click to me.
I like that point. I think the Chargers could be the hard fade. You can't hard fade a favorite though. You can't hard fade the Packers.
Well,
That's-
okay, then
yeah.
you're soft fading them. And with this
Yeah.
team, you're soft fading them.
You could still play Josh
You
Jacobs.
could soft fade.
Yeah, because it's like
Not get in the lineup if you play Jacobs.
Sorry.
Like the question is we're fading the Packers, but if we play Jacobs, who would you have to leave out then?
The Broncos would be an option.
Jags.
Broncos.
The Broncos
So
defense.
You're not going to leave out a one
fade
seed.
a 1 seed.
I mean, you can, right? Like in theory, you can.
So the problem is, this is where the math gets really tough. The problem is you have the Rams as huge favorites, and every other line is close. The other biggest line is the Eagles 4.5 points. That's against the Niners. Obviously, CMC is not the fade. And then you have the Pats against the Chargers. To Pete's point, that's only 3.5. Every other game is a field goal or closer.
No, but we're also throwing in the Chargers. Yeah, the Chargers are getting faded. Chargers, Steelers, Panthers. When we think about the 4 teams that make up our 2 soft fades and 2 hard fades, those 3 lock them in. Steelers, Panthers, Chargers are going to make up a huge percentage. I have all 3 over 50%.
But this is why the Panthers are also 90, because none of us is making the case for the Panthers. The Panthers are going to get faded legendarily.
They're going to get faded hard.
Blair, you strike me as someone who would make a case for Ted Arroyo. You want to do it?
Oh, I mean, I'll definitely play him. I'm not going to make a case for him to Boomer Opto.
Well, okay, let's talk, because this is I think key to
this is it. Like, this is where
the Packers are
Boomers fading a 1 seed. That's what we're talking about.
This is why I think the Boomer Opto is so tough this year. Is these 3 or 4 spots? They're all going to be duped, but there's going to be pivots off of them. I think.
Yeah, but like when
one option I'd like to throw out is Steelers D and Kaimi Fairbairn.
Yeah, that's a good.
I think
just hard fade that game, right? Like
I think the Nico doesn't feel as comfy,
right,
as it should,
and that gets us Jacobs. It gets us not fading the Broncos.
The Boomers love Boswell. You're gonna, instead of Fairbairn,
right, maybe it's Boswell
D,
Texans
you
D.
get Boswell Texans D. I think on that.
Then who's the
maybe you're right. He did miss that kick. He missed that extra point.
He did miss the kick in week 18.
Yeah.
But then you're back to somewhere fading the Broncos there, right? Like, that's the issue.
If we pull Nico, we can put Sutton and Jacobs in.
Yeah.
That gets you Sutton and Jacobs.
That's right.
And you keep ETN.
People love Houston's DST or Fairbairn, to your point. I think you're right that it's the Texans that get soft faded. That's the answer.
And what's more Boomer Opto than a double soft fade built into the lineup?
Oh yeah.
Just we don't want any part of that game.
Although I was just getting mad that you were soft fading or hard fading a favored team, and the Texans are 3-point favorites, obviously, over the Steelers. So it does get tricky.
It gets tricky. Someone's getting The
more I'm looking at it, maybe Dicker is the kicker, actually.
Right?
But,
like it gets tough there, right? Like,
but then you can't. Okay, but if Dicker's the kicker, which is what I have actually is the chalk, then you can't do Steelers D unless you think it's Texans D, Steelers hard fade.
Yeah,
it's not Steelers D. Now it goes to Texans D.
Yeah. So
do you think that's possible? A soft and a hard fade of a game? That seems.
The lowest total game of the week
and Steelers.
I think
this is too boomer for the Boomers. This is
I think that's quintessential Boomer.
This is like silent generation stuff now.
Yeah, I
know. Dude, I think double soft fading, the worst game on the slate, is peak Boomer.
But they would.
Well, it's not even soft fading; it's hard fading one side.
It's hard fading. Like,
I'm saying Dicker. I think Dicker makes the decision tougher.
No, you have Steelers in D and fade. You need to get the Panthers in fade.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, but like
there's no hard
it's still a double soft fade.
I thought we were moving to Dicker in the kicker. That's what I'm saying.
I just don't.
If it goes Dicker, then I don't think we. Yeah.
Dicker Texans hard fade Steelers.
Yeah, that strikes me as that feels too Boomer is what I was saying.
So the only thing I'm going to say is if you're playing Josh Allen in some version of this, Broncos becomes that fade because I'm looking at the look ahead lines and Vegas has the Broncos as favorites to win. I'm sorry, the Bills to win against the Broncos.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what the answer is here? I mean, it's not an answer, but I do think this pulls at Loveland. They don't like rookies, man. And Loveland's 2 good games were week 17 and week 18. It was after a lot of people weren't paying attention. They're underdogs now at home. If you get a different tight end in there, the Bears are the team that you could possibly fade.
So yeah,
Who is that tight end?
Man,
That's
yeah.
chalk. That's on the most.
It's got to be like Dalton Schultz. It's not good.
So then it's like Schultz. So it's Schultz. Yeah, that's the issue. Like
Bears are the 2 seed though at home.
Yeah, there's no way, dude. I don't think it's happening.
Loveland is a comfier click than Schultz.
That's
like
fair.
It's the issue is like the tight end is like you're either taking a massive opportunity cost, which is gonna cause you to be unique. Like Loveland.
Our StreamYard stream getting to YouTube because YouTube seems fine.
Yeah, it looks like there are other live ones from YouTube Studio that are working.
Oh, we're live. We just popped up.
Oh, right.
We literally just popped back up.
Nice.
Let's go.
We're back.
Some of us.
We're back.
We're back. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay.
We're back.
Look at we just waited out. You just
Let's
waited
go.
out.
Just gotta wait.
You guys, you will not believe the things Hassan said about Russia. Wow.
Hey,
Australia was
no
what I was
beef.
going to mention.
I have no beef with Russia, but Australia. Oh my god.
I mean, the boomers hacked us, guys. We just got we just got hacked by the
We're
boomers.
giving away the
That's right.
giving away the secret sauce here.
Yes. Yeah. Where were we? Yeah. Hassan was just saying something. We were saying, does it make Loveland a little bit more fragile as chalk, like the dead end we ran into?
The question here, let's frame it this way. We've got Steelers, Panthers, Chargers are easy enough fades. So that leaves us with one of these teams will be faded in the Boomer Opto. The Packers, who are 1.5 point favorites, but the 7 seed on the road. The Bears, who are 1.5 point home favorites, as the 2 seed.
Underdogs.
Dogs.
Sorry,
1.5
half point underdogs is the 2 seed. The Texans, who are 3 point road favorites. The Steelers hilariously are 3 point road or home dogs. They're not like a huge underdog, but I still think people are going to fade the crap out of them. Or the Jaguars, who are 1.5 point home dogs, but they are the 3 seed, and I think would probably at worst be like favored by get like 2.5 points as underdogs on the road in New England in round 2, and might even be better than that depending on who they play.
I can get you what they've got right now. You said the Jags against New England, right? Jags against New England right now are it's 1.5 points. The Patriots are favored by 1.5 points.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
perfect.
nothing.
And then what if they were to play? What if they were to play the Texans?
If the Jags were to play the Texans, Texans.
Yeah, because that's Chargers beating the Patriots, so they go to play Denver.
Hang on, let me just. My app's glitching, obviously. Do we have it up there? No.
As you were talking, as he looks for that, you were talking through the different teams that you have to fade. One of the things that we had kind of got worked through was like the Texans are 3 point favorites on the road. So it kind of gets to like whether there are exciting skill position players, and the Texans are one that we were obviously talking through fading, but then you wind up with the Steelers, obviously, on the other side of that, even less exciting, and you probably want to pick one of those teams. There's these elements of, and it's kind of the same thing with the Bears and the Packers, where it's those two offenses are very spread out. And
this is how I landed on Packers hard fade. Yeah.
It's because that's you can dock yourself right into it. Anyway, the Jags would be 2.5 point favorites against the Texans.
Okay, so yeah, I mean it's like they're not a fun fade then because they're going to be very live on the road in New England against not a great defense and a game you would expect to have a high total. This is a high total, or 52.5 points this week. That's the highest total of the week. So you're gonna fade a team with the highest total that would probably have the highest total next week if they play the Patriots, and if not, are favored. So it's I don't think it's the Jags.
Shope is talking in the chat about Jeff Hostetler, who I only know from playing Tecmo Super Bowl as a kid. I mean, this is definitely becoming
Shope is claiming he's not a boomer, but he's also talking about Jeff Hostetler. So
how do we I do think the answer is just we're going to see a lot of close
2v2s. It's like 2v2s
on these soft fades.
Now,
Like maybe the answer is none of them pull away as chalk.
My inner boomer's amped to play Schultz. That's an interesting take.
But no, Don is a GPP bro, tried and true. He's trying to
he doesn't have an inner boomer.
No, he's already thinking of leverage. Yeah.
I do think Schultz is going to catch a decent amount of ownership, man.
He is, because I mean, like it's just
I have him as the second highest player.
The second highest, right?
Second highest tight end. Yeah.
Let's see. Would you guys want to build a lineup?
Oh yeah. How do we want to build it?
Let's settle once and for all though on this Boomer Opto.
Oh yeah.
So,
I think you got to go
in the record books.
You got to go back to fading the Packers or the Bears. One of those teams.
Yeah, it's
two spread out offenses. You got to pick a side. Pat was fading the Packers.
I'm almost coming full circle on that too, right? Like I started out initially as a back fade, and like let me ask you a question: like how healthy is Josh Jacobs, right? Because the last thing we heard of Josh Jacobs from a Boomer perspective was this guy's playing through massive knee injuries, and then you just sort of see him do like nothing.
He said it himself. He's like, he said it hurts more to be off the field than on. Like, okay, that sounds great. You're obviously injured. They don't have any receivers that you can play. It's too spread out.
Join us in the retirement.
Tucker Kraft was healthy. Tucker Kraft would be.
Oh god, Tucker Kraft would be.
Oh my god,
86% owned. Like easy.
Oh my god, yeah.
Run.
He would literally be like, it would be like a Kelsey and a half. Like
it would be.
But I've come around to Pat's take that the Packers are a soft fade in the Boomer Opto. You play the Bears at home because of the 2 seed.
Yeah.
If the Boomers are not looking at the lines, they don't know the Packers are 1.5 point favorites. They're looking
sentiment
at
on the Packers is bad. Packers are a crap team that's not going to do anything.
I still think Steelers and Panthers are the hard. I still think Steelers and Panthers are the hard fade with Dicker becoming your kicker, right?
And then I think Dicker's the kicker.
And Texans DST.
If you look at odds and Super Bowl odds, it definitely makes sense to have the Steelers
as a hard fade,
in the Chargers as a soft fade. But I just think in practice, like Steelers in a low scoring matchup versus the kicker on the road in a loss, like it does not feel good.
But this is a great point from Pete as well about these odds. So if you work back, you have the Panthers. They're literally, this is hilarious. They're 200-1, even though they're in the fucking playoffs. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Steelers are 50-1. Chargers are 30-1. So those are the first three. The other 30-1 is the Niners, and you're playing CMC.
Playing the Niners.
And then there's two 25-1s, and then there's a 13-1 and up. And so the 225-1s are the Packers and Bears. Both those teams are 25
right? It's just so.
It has to be one of them. That's your fourth fade because it can't be the Niners.
Your fourth fade. Yeah, so you got to pick one. And I think, look, people are saying Loveland in the Boomer Opto is sticking out. Someone was saying it's just
he's wrong.
Like a purple bruise
on the lineup. So wrong, dude.
It's comfiest Boomer pick on the board almost.
I think it's that.
It's not a Boomer pick, but it is a comfy
chalk.
It's just a
Opto pick.
It takes care of tight end with no opportunity cost. There's no opportunity cost.
Like you're not jamming any of these other guys ahead of the skill players that we've listed. It's just so hard to get to them.
If you're just tuning in, just think of Boomer Opto as a cute little code for the chalk lineup. This is like we're doing salary caps,
which was duped 16 times.
We're trying to figure out the chalk lineup, guys. That is the exercise here.
It was duped 16 times last year, 15 times the second most duped, and 14 times the third most duped. So this is going to be a heavily duped.
It like there was a moment like during this training 5 years ago where we revealed this lineup, and so like people were in the chat saying that was my lineup, and it was like, all right, you like at least we're not like we've come a long way from that, but like it's still you just want to avoid some formation of this.
And honestly, like I was gonna make this same joke, but it's not a joke. Dicker the kicker, he's making. It's Dicker the kicker.
Yeah, no, it's just, dude, it's so hard to not play him, right? Like he is.
I will back down on it if you guys think. I just don't think.
Well, we're
Who
taking
do you think
Jacobs
is-
out.
Because
of the flex.
Fairbairn,
Yeah,
Jacobs
yeah.
is
I
out.
think I'm with
Nico's
taking
in for
Jacobs out.
Jacobs.
Oh,
So
Nico,
it's
that's
Brandon.
right.
It's Brandon McManus versus Dicker is where you're at.
And then I think you just take the
And
Dicker.
give me McManus then. I don't think the Broncos don't strike me as this
Right?
No, it's the
uber paper
Packers
tiger.
Is it the
Yeah, the
Pats?
Broncos. That's the
No,
thing
it's
with
the
the
Packers
Broncos.
kicker, not the Broncos.
No, but like you can still play Broncos DST. I just don't like the Broncos feel like not
You
a
have Sutton.
safe one seed.
No, we have.
I know
Sutton.
we have Sutton, but I'm just saying like
If we're
of
soft
one-
fading the Packers, I was asking if it's McManus or do you then hard fade the Steelers and play Packers
I
D
think-
against Caleb Williams, knowing he's going to take some sacks.
I think you hard fade. I think you hard fade the Steelers, and then you play the Green. You don't play Green Bay D, do you?
You don't play Green Bay D. They
You
scored
don't.
like shit this year.
You don't even play the kicker either.
I
They
think
have
you can
Arnold.
play Green Bay D. You think Green Bay D is that bad?
No.
Without,
Yeah,
I don't.
they're
They
bad.
don't project well,
Yeah,
and they haven't scored well.
they
So I
don't.
they
don't
haven't
think people
done
will play.
anything.
And they've given
Yeah.
up a lot of points
I
recently.
think people
which
play
Boomer's
Chargers D before.
Yeah, I
Green
think
Bay
they
D,
play
and
Chargers D ahead,
I think they'll play Steelers D for sure over Green Bay D.
especially in a low scoring game. That's the hard part, right?
Yeah,
I think there is a chance that Steelers and Texans are both at least soft fades.
And
I do like that. I do like it too. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's just if you follow
So we
the
go
narrative,
Fairbairn and then back
Yeah, we
to
can go
Jacobs.
Back to Jacobs.
we could do that.
that's-
Yeah,
Taking Jacobs out feels bad to
It's-
me.
it feels. Yeah,
I didn't realize Caleb
Fairbairn
Williams only
is
took
so funny.
24 sacks this year, dude. That guy took 68 sacks last year. It was like a record-breaking year, and Ben Johnson comes in. He takes 24 the next year. That's crazy.
This to me is
That's why they don't project
This is
well, the Packers.
Well,
Yeah.
Pete, only other swap would be Boswell and the Texans.
Boswell and Texans D. That's right. Just fit the two.
I'm
I think
fine with
that's-
that as well.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Or you could,
Fine
yeah,
with
it becomes Boswell Texans D, or it becomes Dicker Texans D. Like I think that's
I'm fine with this
like,
as well.
Yeah, you can do Dicker Texans D, and then Steelers.
What I
hard
love
fade
about
well.
this lineup is that there's a boomer going, no, dude.
No,
It's Fairbairn Steelers D.
I know, yeah.
As
I
the chat
can't-
has pointed out, it's really blurry. For if our chat, us, like, where does this boomer, line cross now? So
There's
hard
gonna
to keep track
be
anymore.
there's gonna be 100 lineups of like 1v1 off this. Like that's that's my feeling.
Right. Yeah, there is. You got to have a couple pivots for sure.
Yeah, like you're gonna need.
And I also think the funny thing about the soft fade, hard fade from the same game, again, the Boomer Opto, every single pick is done in isolation. Like
In isolation,
build
yeah.
a bracket with
Right.
the Boomer Opto. We did not build a bracket.
There's
what I
no,
do-
there's no correlation.
The one pick that I think is maybe not done in isolation is the quarterback. Like I
The
think
quarterback.
Yeah.
the hard fade opposite the quarterback, I think, is probably they think about that. So having the Chargers as a hard fade here with May does make actually a lot of sense, and we didn't have it like that
Yeah, I
before.
think so.
Yeah, so
But you
man,
can-
the Boswell
you-
Texans D is so boomer. I think we did
Boswell
it. I think we got there.
It's perfect. It is good.
Yeah,
It's
it
very
is
good.
really perfect.
Yeah,
Boswell has just enough name recognition to just feel.
Yeah.
there was one
It's-
year. Let me see if I pull it up because I've been pretty good at getting these locked in, but the spot that's been my weak spot has been the kicker in D, and one where I missed really bad. I'm pretty sure I missed low on Boswell. I think it
Yeah.
might have been 2 years ago.
I remember this.
And-
He had a ton. The other
Yeah.
thing I love about this while you're looking that up is the Texans, making sure we got the Texans D in there. We talked about it when we had Nico. Pete had put it in the little notes over there because they've been optimal in 2 gamers both the last couple years. And the thing about boomers, they always draft running backs that were good in the past that are not going to be good now because they're so sure that the past production means what's going to happen in the future. I'll just keep drafting Ezekiel Elliott. I don't care if he's 45 years old. I mean, he's going to be great this year.
Dude,
They're going to be like Houston Texans D. They were the optimal. And these losers are going to give us Texans D again. They're not going to play Texans D. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, let's get Texans D in there.
So
Best play.
So it was last year. I thought Zane Gonzalez would be the chalk. It made a lot of sense. High total game. He's kind of this year's Cam Little. We were like, oh,
Yeah.
it makes a ton of sense, right? Boswell I had at 9%. He was 23%.
They fucking love Chris Boswell, dude.
Kaimi Fairbairn was 19. I had him at 7. So I missed on the kicker. The kicker's always been tough for me. I think Boswell. I think you guys are right. Boswell's got the name recognition.
The name recognition is big.
Well, you also have to realize the way a boomer lineup is getting filled out is they're getting to kicker and DST last.
Yeah, you're just taking whoever's not the 2 teams you don't want to click.
There might be some people who naturally go put Texans D because they like that, but for the most part, the kicker is going to be what is left over, and so it's less of a choice and more just this is the one thing that's not great out right now, which is why you're going to get more variability on the kicker.
Boswell was the regular season fantasy K1 highest scoring kicker. This year's highest scoring kicker was Kaimi Fairbairn. Actually,
see Fairbairn. God, there's like 2 groups of boomers sitting at the Sizzler, and one of them
they're gonna go to war.
They're debating the kickers. They are fucking kicker chasing.
Fairbairn, yeah. The rest of the lineup, no notes. They're complete agreement.
Yeah, they're gonna go to war over this one. Yeah, you just know there's someone like out there who's like, this is a work of art. They're gonna hit submit.
I love the Opto devolved into kicker chasing though.
Yeah. But that's the issue with it this year, right? Is like once you get like the obvious skill players out of the way, right? Then it's just left down like to the margins.
Yeah, I also think so pivots off of this will be Collins and Denver D. Collins and Denver D will be a 2v2 off of this.
One. Yep.
Or one of the Packers and Bears. Jacobs could move down.
Jacobs could move down. You could put in.
That's what you had originally, Pat, was the Packers.
Yeah, Jacobs comes down and you play Collins for Jacobs, and then you figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a Jaguars.
You probably go to Steelers D and Dicker the kicker
and
in
Dicker,
that
and then
in that iteration.
Dicker,
yeah, that's another big one. And then I guess will be.
You could play Josh Allen, but I don't think that's going to be the chalk, though. Like you said, like I think that Drake May, I'm very much online with that.
Yeah. Josh Allen will be played a lot though. So they'll
but Josh Allen Denver D becomes. I think Josh Allen Denver D like the that becomes like the pivot. But like again, it's all kind of on the margins. Like it's I mean, like as long as you've got like all of Saquon, CMC, Puka, JSN, Loveland, ETN,
Schultz, Bears D is another good pivot off of this.
I was thinking that, or you get something like Schultz, Steelers D, Dicker, Bears hard fade.
Bears hard fade. Yeah. That's a good one. One.
Should we build a team?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, we are going to put this one. People were asking. We showed this earlier, but there's a $35 version and a $200 version. We're going to put some of our show lineups here into this $35 challenge. So do not dupe us, please, even though it is titled the Boomer Opto. Let's let our guests make the first selections. Hassan, what would you like to do?
Actually, Blair, do you want to go first? I'm still debating internally.
Well, yes, I do. I would like to play Tedero McMillan.
That was going to be my
pick. This is how you quickly palate cleanse from Boomer Talk.
You had to start with McMillan, of course. I love where your head's at.
Yeah, that was frustrating.
Build the team around him.
That's the right one.
Build the team around him.
Incredible. Hassan, you're up next.
Oh God! Someone tell me why I should not take Hunter Henry or Diggs. One of you guys talk me off of that.
Well, we want to play good players.
All right, a good player.
That really felt like Sean. I felt like Sean. When he said it was delivered like Sean. It was great.
Yeah. All right, let's play a good player. Let's play AJ Brown.
Okay.
Is he still good?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Question. That's the question.
Pretty good.
I like it. Gretch, you're up.
I'm up.
Remember,
AJ
Brett, we let our
Brown.
guests make the fun picks, and then we get us back
We
on
have-
track.
We gotta do it.
Yeah, no, you're just gonna.
That was great. I'm gonna take Brenton Strange.
Nice.
It's kind of chalky. It's kind of fun, but it's also a little bit on the chalky side, honestly. It's getting us a little bit on track, Pete.
Yeah.
It's on track. It's not chalky, I don't think, but it's on track. It's
It's
definitely
on track. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Pat. You want to play the hits, or do you got another trick up your sleeve?
I'll go JSN.
Yeah, that was.
All right.
Lame.
RFK just lost his life savings, so apology for that. But
well,
okay, yeah.
quarterback position's still open. That's for sure. There.
I said RFK, and I thought you were talking about Robert F. Kennedy. I was like, what
No,
are you talking about?
RKFC.
Yeah, like I said, I'll be the boring guy, and I will put in CMC for us here, and we're back around to Blair.
Okay, now I have to kind of think about what this lineup is going to look like.
Our job, Pete, was to get some chalk into this lineup that's going to be pretty much 1% plays otherwise. That's where
All 1%.
a bunch of 1% plays.
I guess I do kind of like May in this lineup, actually.
Oh, we're going to chalk.
Yeah.
We're eating some chalk now.
I think
Either of us
we have Ted Arroyo, Brenton Strange, and AJ Brown.
I think we can
Like,
afford
No,
to
yeah,
take-
we can afford to eat a
take
bunch
some
of chalk. Yeah.
Yes, this can be a male team.
Yeah. All right, I'll take the free square and Puka.
Okay.
So we have both sides of Philly, San Fran, both sides of Rams, Panthers.
Yep.
So now we got to start thinking about picking winners in some spots.
Yeah.
It's up to me,
Yeah.
right? What are the
Yeah,
matchups?
like
we have
Packers,
Packers.
Lions. Yeah.
Ooh.
And Bills,
Yeah.
Jags.
I'm gonna take Josh Jacobs in this lineup. I think because
Ooh, wow.
you already have a tight end. I think the Bears are tough. I think you take the Packers to win with Jacobs.
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, I did want to get your guys' thoughts on a sneaky, from a real sneaky low one play. I think Christian Watson could be a real slate breaker if the Packers were to actually win one or more games, 2 games.
I think Watson's a good play, yeah.
Watson or Dubs, either one of those
Yeah.
two guys would be.
I sorry, I hadn't even looked at the ownership. I didn't realize Jacobs was 41%. He's completely off my board now. I want to take Christian Watson. If he's chalky, I thought he was low owned somehow, but yeah, no.
Pat, tell me if this checks out for you. I want to say most years the most wild lineup we submit in the contest is the first lineup from the Boomer Opto show.
I think that's right.
And I think it did really well either last year or 2 years ago. Just hyper leveraged like this because we're all in whiplash mode after the Boomer Opto.
Yeah, just
nothing to do with that.
We didn't even talk about the pivots. Damn. But yeah, we spent all the time on the Boomer Opto.
Can I change my pick a third time?
Sure.
I want to play Luther Burden.
I'm
picking the Bears to win.
That's the right
I'm
play.
picking the Bears to win. It took me a minute to get there. But
Yeah, that's the play. That's the real play.
Now I'm
That's
glad.
hilarious.
I was about to go back and pivot to Henderson, but I'm glad you did that. Now I don't have to.
That's great.
I'll go. Is it my pick?
Yeah.
I'll go James Cook.
Yeah, that's
I think it's pretty important in a Brenton Strange lineup to.
that has to happen. Yes.
Yeah, that has to happen. So
yeah.
Okay, then it's to me.
Yeah.
And we have Jags Bills now. We are going to.
we don't have a Charger. We don't have a Packer.
Do we want
We don't have
either
a-
of those teams?
We don't have a Texan. We don't have a
We don't have a-
Steeler.
Texans Steeler matchup. We don't have either side of.
We
Texans
could.
Steelers matchup. Yeah, let's do the Nico on this one.
We could do Nico. I was gonna say we could do Nico or.
Wait, we're
We
also
don't have
fading.
we don't have a Bronco,
We're
right?
fading the Broncos.
Yeah.
Well, you
Okay.
could
Great.
fade the Broncos though and get away with it if you take the kicker.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the D.
Or the D, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there is like another version of this where you remove May, put in Henderson, and play Trevor Lawrence. That gets the blood going.
We did have to play Cook there on a strange team.
Trevor
We
Lawrence
already
get
had
involved in
2
this?
of the first rounds.
Then we need to replace the tight end.
Yeah,
I know, yeah,
think
exactly.
there's a version where you play Henderson and Nix, maybe, but
You can't
I
play
like
Henderson and Nix.
There's another version of this where you remove May, put in Trevor Lawrence, and trade on Henderson. Take out Brenton Strange.
There's actually 14 million other versions of this if you actually think about it.
I guess there is, but
It's a simple 6v6 swap. I mean,
I do think
yeah.
as I'm looking at this, the picks if you have Strange, you have to have Cook, right? So
Yeah.
I think Broncos D is the
that's
Broncos.
it's
fine.
Yeah, and like they can come out flat, like completely. Like they're not that is not an inspiring 1 seed, man. Like that is
the 2v2 you could do is you could pull AJ Brown because you have McCaffrey.
Yeah.
On the team,
Do you
and you
prefer-
could put Sutton in.
do you prefer?
yeah,
Cook?
you can do that.
Nah.
Do you prefer?
No,
Cook?
let's keep with this. Yeah, let's keep.
No, I
Cooper.
like this. And then the
Yeah.
question is who's the kicker? Dick
My
or
question
Boswell?
is, in a strange line,
I don't think Dick or opposite May because it's nice if you miss the soft fade.
Yeah,
to
they
at
miss
least
the
have
soft
a guy.
fade. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's McManus or Boswell, or who else would be?
Played Denver defense, so it's Green Bay kicker or Boswell.
Oh, that's McManus.
No, McManus is that's
Oh
who
my
McManus is.
I know, right?
I saw the double Green Bay kicker. And I was like, no, McManus is Denver.
Oh,
yeah, he used to.
No,
be
we can't
for
do
you.
Fairbairn.
We can't do Fairbairn unless
It's
I don't know, I mean,
McManus. Yeah, let McManus kick
Yeah.
some field goals.
And then we fade
Steelers.
Detroit and Chargers, or Detroit Steelers and Chargers.
Oh, we could take Dicker if we wanted to.
I don't want that opposite May.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're away. Yeah, they're on the road.
Yeah.
I think this looks good.
Right.
But just because if we're wrong about Burden and then we get the kicker, that's not so bad. But if we're wrong about May and we get the kicker, then we're
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We're dead on arrival. Yeah.
Do you think, though, kind of to that question, in a strange lineup, we prefer Cook over Allen?
That's
you could pivot to Allen and
Well, I mean,
do
I
like Henderson.
I
there.
think Strange is super live in a 2-gamer. In fact, I think it might make him more live because of how many bad tight ends there are. If you don't get a big ETN score or anything, like if Strange has 2 games to catch 10 total passes or something, I mean, he's going to be a really good tight end play in this.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
I like this lineup.
I mean, I like it.
I like Strange with Cook because I think you can play Cook in a 1-gamer, and I do think Strange is very viable in a 2-gamer.
Yeah,
That makes sense. Yeah.
no, he for sure is.
If you want to go more unique, I wanted to get your guys' take on AJ Brown versus Devonta Smith. Like, who do you think is a better pick there?
Brown.
I think Smith is more fun, but
I think one of the things that we've learned over the years is that you don't actually have to go to like the third pivot. It's like if you do enough of the secondary pivots, you're good. Unless you really think that there's like a super
Smith
strong
is
play. Like Burden is sort of a third pivot because Swift might come in higher owned, but he's awesome and I want to play him, so it's different.
Burden is Odunze going to play?
Probably.
I guess I should say is he gonna play well?
Well, that's a whole other question. That one's above my pay grade.
Devonta's a fourth pivot because Dallas Goedert's going to come in ahead of
yeah.
Dallas Goedert will be ahead of Devonta. Yeah,
And honestly,
Goddard,
Jalen Hurts is going to come in ahead of him too. Like Devonta's way down there. He's like the
Like,
fifth
Ooh,
play.
you're kind of talking
feels
me
like
into Devontae now.
Right, like Devonta in a $35. It feels like in the $35, like since there's no salary cap, right? Like it feels like you play the leverage, right? You could also do it in
if you guys want to play
200.
Devonta, I'm fine with it.
I was opening it up. That's all. Like I just want to
I
get
will
your guys'
say,
take.
you guys should do this tomorrow with Davis and Jacob on. The Slappy Opto would be
That's
really
great.
good idea from
The
Joe.
Slappy Opto
really
would be
good.
good.
We'll do that
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Is there bird indeed?
Luther Burden.
Yeah.
Luther Burn, Travion Henderson.
For
All
sure.
the
Yeah,
stars are here.
You can't even.
Yeah.
It's not
Drake
even.
Bay
It's
is
like
a-
Bo Nix. It's not
It's
even.
like Bo
yeah.
Nix for sure.
Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yes, slapping
Yeah.
between Loveland and Burden sweating me. So good.
No, they can't play. They can't play Loveland because he's too high owned.
It's too high owned, dude.
He's too high
Tight
on.
end's got to
Can't eat
be
the
something
chalk.
absurd.
Dude, did they pivot? Does the slap pivot to Tootin for the Jags?
Dude, yeah, well, leverage, dude.
Oh my
leverage.
god, this is great. Jarquez
Either-
Hunter, bro.
It's funny how there's some teams that just don't really have slap picks. I do think, like, yeah. I mean, the
Oh.
Bills.
Oh, the
Adam
tight ends
Sharpen,
are-
baby.
No, the tight ends are Rondé Gadsden for sure.
Yes.
Around the
Oh
gap.
my
Gadsden is for
God.
sure making it in.
Yes. Yes.
Watch, brother.
You watched, brother.
brother.
Aronde Gadsden on the road is gonna.
Oh man.
All
Snappy Opto
right.
might be a Trevor Lawrence lineup, to be honest.
Yeah, it would be.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't have to
all right.
squint too hard at that one.
This was a blast. Like I said, tomorrow night, Pat's ownership projections. Obviously, you got a little taste of it tonight, but we'll be going position by position on that. Tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to have Drico and Sack joining us. We're going to do kind of a hodgepodge show with them. And then Friday, the finale with Dink and Leone. I know for sure, Leone, I always say Dink and Leone, just trying to manifest Dink showing up, but he's probably busy with NBA, but we'll see. Hassan, Blair, thank you for joining us. You guys have anything else people should be looking out for at Rotoviz?
Yeah, we'll have coverage of this contest coming up on the site. I'm working on an article. I think Sean's got an article coming out this week. So yeah, stay tuned for all that.
Awesome. Hassan, what do you got for us?
Probably going to be doing some prospect stuff. Blair and I have been chatting a little bit about it, and so we're going to get back into some of the prospect stuff here. It's an interesting class. I've been saying for a while, dynasty analysis is more important, even though the format may be dying. Making sure you're not doing something stupid like drafting Caleb Johnson is a good way to make sure you're not DOA in best ball. So going to be fun.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Caleb Johnson.
Pat, Gretch, anything else for you guys?
No, we'll be back here tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be back in tomorrow. I'm writing some stuff at Stealing Signals this week, recapping the season more than forward looking, but I've been having some fun looking back at 2025. But yeah, I'll be with you guys tomorrow.
Awesome. All right, guys. Appreciate all of you. We will see you tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Until then, for Pat, Gretch, Hassan, Blair, I'm Pete. We'll see you guys then. Peace.